We're going to be learning how to save seeds from the sunflower or Asteraceae family. Here's a list of some of the common edible family members. Artichokes and cardoons tend to be propagated by division, and Jerusalem artichokes, also known as sunchokes, are done by tubers. However, the seed-saving information in this video applies to many of the edible as well as non-edible members of the sunflower family. Plants that are in the same family tend to be saved in a similar way, so it's helpful to start learning what family a plant is in. Let's define species and variety. A species is a group of organisms, and we're talking about plants here, that's capable of interbreeding and producing fertile offspring. So lettuce is a species, and the scientific name is Latuca sativa. Now we might be talking about green salad bowl or red oak leaf. Those are varieties of lettuce. And what makes a variety is that it's got distinct appearance or characteristics from other varieties. Members of the sunflower family have flower heads that are actually composed of many individual flowers or florets. They have perfect flowers, which means that within a flower are contained both male and female parts. Some of the members of the sunflower family are self-pollinated, and others are cross-pollinated by insects. Lettuce is self-pollinating, which means that within one flower, the male part pollinates the female part. Since lettuce is pollinated by itself, the seeds will more reliably be the same variety. That's why lettuce is super easy to save. Sunflowers have perfect flowers containing male and female parts in the same flower. However, many sunflowers are self-incompatible, which means that they cannot accept pollen from within the same flower. Sunflowers have to get pollen from another flower. They are primarily pollinated by bees. If a bee comes from a flower on the same plant or a flower of the same variety, then the seeds you save will be fine. However, if a bee comes from a different variety and it pollinates your variety, then the seeds you save will be a hybrid. Understanding how a plant gets pollinated will help you prevent hybridization and unpredictable results. An heirloom is something that has value that is passed down from generation to generation. Heirlooms often have a face, a place, and a story connected to them. So when we buy heirloom seeds, it's kind of similar to buying antique jewelry. These seeds are important for genetic diversity, but they aren't our heirlooms. A more appropriate term instead of heirloom is open-pollinated. Open-pollinated means that if you save those seeds properly, they will be identical to their parents. In other words, they're not hybrids. Hybrids, on the other hand, have two distinct parents. If you buy seeds, read the package carefully and look for the words hybrid, F1, which stands for filial one or first offspring, or just F. They want you to know it's a hybrid, since most hybrids are not stable and cannot be saved properly. If you save the seeds from unstable hybrids, the results can be wonky and unpredictable. So don't save seeds from hybrids for the library or to share with others. Fortunately, the plants in the sunflower family don't do much cross-pollination, so the chances of them being hybrids unintentionally is relatively low. There are a few main types of lettuce. When selecting and planting to grow, you need to consider your seed-saving requirements. So for example, in the case of crisp head or iceberg lettuce, you're going to have to sacrifice a plant or two just to go for seed saving. This isn't the case with things like the loose leaf lettuce, where you can harvest the leaves throughout the season, and then when it bolts, you can save those seeds. In order to ensure absolute purity, you can plant different varieties 20 feet apart from each other. However, lettuce has a very low chance of cross-pollination, so you can plant multiple varieties right next to each other with very little concern about having hybridization. When the plants are growing, make sure that the plants exhibit the characteristics of that variety, or in seed-saving terms, are true to type. Also think about what characteristics you'd like your future plants to have, such as slow to bolt or disease or drought resistant, and select to save seeds from the plants that exhibit these desired characteristics. And always save seeds from the healthiest true to type plants. So we're going to be processing through lettuce. Once again, lettuce looks really different when it's mature than what we normally see in the grocery store or in our garden, because we're growing it ourselves right now. So after my plant started to get the white tufts on about half of them were mature, I just cut the whole thing off, stuck it in a paper bag, and then I let it just dry inside. And what you do is you just look for these little white tufts, little fluff balls, and I put them in a bowl, but I'll just put them in my hands so you can see what they look like and take off some of the chaff there. And so there you can see little lettuce seeds. Some of them are white and some of them are darker color. I like to put them in a bowl. So I have a big bowl here and I'm gonna put through a whole bunch and then I'll show you what I do next. There's a couple ways you can clean your lettuce seeds. If it's a small quantity, you can just remove the chaff, the white stuff, with your hands. However, if you have a larger quantity, you might want to do what's called winnowing. So I have a bowl and I have a tray. What I'm going to do, this is good to do outside, especially where you might want to plant some lettuce, where you take your seeds and you blow on it, or you let the wind blow on it. And the lighter material is going to blow away and your heavier seeds are going to fall down and you're going to capture them in your bowl. Another strategy is you can take like a kitchen sieve or some other type of screen. You can pour your seeds into it. This is called reverse screening because what we want is actually falling down. So I'm doing this and the seeds are big enough to come through, but the white fluffy stuff is staying on top. So I have my seeds here, and then if I want to get rid of a little bit of the white stuff that came through, I can just kind of gently blow on it to remove that, and then I have fairly clean seeds for myself as well as to share with the library. Since you're saving your own seeds, you're going to need to package them. We have on Richmond Grows some labels that you can download. We also have the envelopes available that are pre-stamped in the cabinet in the library. It's important for you to record as much information as possible so that you remember, was this a crisp head type of lettuce or what type of sunflower this was. Not only is it for the benefit of you, but it's also for the benefit of people that are going to be borrowing your seeds. Sunflowers are pollinated by bees. We need to take some extra steps to make sure that the pollen the bee is carrying is from the same variety so that we don't save seeds from a hybrid. One strategy is to isolate different varieties by distance. The greater the distance between the varieties, the better. To ensure absolute purity, different varieties need to be 1/3 of a mile away. This can be quite hard to manage in urban settings. Here are some other things you can do to reduce risks. Plant one variety and know what your neighbors are planting. Maybe you can agree to plant the same variety, or maybe you can plant yours at a different time so they aren't flowering at the same time. You can also rub your hand across the sunflower and spread the pollen from one florette to another, since many sunflowers cannot accept their own pollen. Plant lots of the same type of sunflower. It will increase the chance the pollen comes from the same variety. It also looks a whole lot nicer. Let the seed head dry completely on the plant. When writing on your seed-saving envelope, you may want to include information about the size of the plant and head. Are these seeds fit for humans or birds? How did they taste? What color were the flowers? And did it have a branching or central stem? You've saved your seeds, now you want to store them. If you store them well, it will extend how long they will be viable, or that is good for planting. Some basic recommendations are to keep them in a cool, dry, and dark location. Keeping them under constant conditions is best. Store the seeds in paper envelopes, or you can put them in airtight metal or glass jars. Just make sure that they've dried sufficiently before you store them. If you want to be more precise about your storage, then make sure you keep under the seed limit. The combination of the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit and the relative humidity need to be less than 100. Higher humidity has a more negative influence than higher temperature, since the seeds are more susceptible to fungal attacks. Remember to download the envelope labels or pick up pre-stamped envelopes from Richmond Grows Seed Lending Library. Make a packet for yourself and always keep enough seeds for several years, since you may experience a crop failure or have weak plants that you wouldn't want to save seeds from. Make another envelope to take to the library to share with our community. If you have extra seeds, which is likely with the sunflower family, additional packets can be made and placed in the Donate to Sister Seed Libraries box that's located in the glass cabinet in the library. If you don't live in the San Francisco area and are interested in having a seed library, go to our Create a Library page at richmondgrowseeds.org. We're a joint project of the Richmond Public Library and the Richmond Rivets, our Transition Town initiative, helping our community to live more locally and resiliently. We're a fiscally sponsored project of Urban Till.